Dr. Sergei Brukhanenko. The name might not ring a bell for most. Yet, this Russian scientist from the early 20th century dared to explore the boundary between life and death. Born in 1890 during the twilight of Tsarist Russia, Brukhanenko dedicated his life to pushing the limits of medical science. His work, though controversial, continues to spark debate and inspire innovation in the field of medicine even today. Brukhanenko's early life was marked by the tumultuous political climate of Russia. He witnessed the fall of the Tsar and the rise of the Soviet Union. These events deeply influenced his worldview. They instilled in him a belief in the power of science to transform society. This belief fueled his ambition to conquer what many considered unconquerable, death itself. Brukhanenko's fascination with the human body began during his medical studies. He was particularly captivated by the circulatory system. He marveled at its intricate network of veins, arteries, and the heart, the engine that kept it all running. His early research focused on developing techniques for blood transfusion, a field still in its infancy at the time. This work laid the foundation for his later groundbreaking and some might say, shocking experiments. Driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire to push the boundaries of medical science, Brukhanenko embarked on a path that would forever etch his name in the annals of history. One of his most notable contributions was the development of the autojector, a primitive heart-lung machine. This device was designed to circulate blood and oxygen throughout the body, effectively keeping organs alive outside the body. Brukhanenko's experiments with the autojector were both groundbreaking and controversial. In one of his most famous demonstrations, he used the autojector to keep a severed dog's head alive. The head could respond to stimuli, blink, and even lick its lips, astonishing the scientific community and the public alike. While many were horrified by the ethical implications, others saw the potential for life-saving medical advancements. Today, the principles behind the autojector are used in modern heart-lung machines, which have saved countless lives during complex surgeries. Despite the controversy, Brukhanenko's legacy endures, a testament to his relentless pursuit of knowledge and innovation. His work continues to inspire new generations of scientists, reminding us that the boundaries of science are meant to be pushed, even if it means venturing into the unknown. Brukhanenko's story is a powerful reminder of the impact one individual can have on the world, challenging us to look beyond the horizon and dare to dream the impossible. Brukhanenko's fascination with pushing the boundaries of life and death wasn't born in a vacuum. His journey into the unknown realms of science was a product of his time, a period marked by rapid advancements and a burgeoning curiosity about the mysteries of life. He was deeply inspired by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a novel that had captivated the imaginations of many since its publication. This Gothic masterpiece, exploring the ethics of creating life, resonated deeply with his own scientific ambitions. The story of Victor Frankenstein, who dared to play God, mirrored Brukhanenko's own aspirations and fears. The novel's themes of scientific hubris and the moral implications of tampering with life resonated deeply with him. It was a cautionary tale that highlighted the potential consequences of unchecked scientific ambition. Just as Victor Frankenstein sought to conquer death and create life, Brukhanenko dedicated himself to developing technologies that could challenge the seemingly insurmountable barrier between life and death. His work was driven by a relentless curiosity and a desire to push the boundaries of what was possible. He was particularly interested in the potential of artificial organs. The idea that machines could replicate the functions of human organs fascinated him. Could machines breathe life back into a body that had succumbed to the inevitable? This question was at the heart of his research and drove him to explore uncharted territories in medical science. This question fueled his research. He meticulously documented his experiments, always seeking to improve and refine his techniques. He began experimenting with ways to keep organs alive outside the body. This was a revolutionary idea at the time, and it required a deep understanding of both biology and engineering. His goal was to create artificial systems that could replicate the function of vital organs. He believed that if he could achieve this, it would be a monumental step towards extending human life. This pursuit led him to develop innovative devices like the heart-lung machine, a precursor to the sophisticated life support systems we have today. These machines were groundbreaking and paved the way for modern medical advancements. Brukhanenko believed that artificial organs held the key to extending life and even conquering death itself. His vision was both ambitious and controversial, challenging the very essence of what it means to be alive. His work was driven by a conviction that science could overcome the limitations of the human body. He saw the human body as a complex machine, one that could be repaired and even improved with the right tools and knowledge. However, his relentless pursuit of this goal would lead him to conduct experiments that many considered ethically questionable. The line between scientific progress and ethical boundaries became increasingly blurred. Brukhonenko's work wasn't just about pushing scientific boundaries, it was about challenging deeply held beliefs about the nature of life and death. His experiments forced society to reconsider what it means to be alive. It was about challenging deeply held beliefs about the nature of life and death. His work sparked philosophical debates and ethical discussions that continue to this day. His research forced the world to confront uncomfortable questions about the limits of science and the ethics of manipulating life itself. The legacy of his work is a testament to the enduring tension between scientific innovation and ethical responsibility. At the heart of Brukhonenko's controversial experiments lay a device known as the autojector, or as some called it, the heart-lung machine. This rudimentary device, a precursor to modern extracorporeal circulation machines, was designed to keep a severed head alive. It worked by circulating oxygenated blood through the brain, essentially mimicking the function of the heart and lungs. The autojector consisted of two diaphragm pumps connected to a system of tubes and valves. One pump drew deoxygenated blood from the subject, while the other pumped oxygenated blood back in. This closed-loop system aimed to maintain the vital functions of the brain even after it had been detached from the body. While seemingly a product of science fiction, the autojector was very real. Brukhonenko's experiments, often conducted on animals, demonstrated its potential to maintain the viability of a severed head for a short period. These experiments, documented in graphic detail, shocked and captivated the world. Brukhonenko's research went beyond just keeping a head alive. He believed that the autojector could pave the way for more sophisticated artificial organs. He envisioned a future where failing organs could be replaced or supplemented by mechanical counterparts. This vision, fueled by his fascination with Frankenstein, placed him at the forefront of a scientific revolution. Brukhonenko's experiments were not for the faint of heart. His work delved into the very essence of life and death, pushing the boundaries of what was scientifically possible at the time. He operated in an era where ethical guidelines for animal research were lax or non-existent. This lack of regulation allowed him to conduct experiments that would be considered highly controversial today. His subjects, primarily dogs, underwent gruesome procedures. These animals were often subjected to extreme conditions, all in the name of scientific discovery. These involved decapitation and the connection of their severed heads to the autojector. The autojector was a primitive heart-lung machine designed to keep the severed heads alive by pumping oxygenated blood through them. These experiments, documented in photographs and films, were both captivating and disturbing. They provided a visual record of the macabre and groundbreaking work being done in Brukhonenko's lab. They showed heads seemingly alive, reacting to stimuli, even after being severed from their bodies. This was a shocking demonstration of the potential to sustain life through artificial means. One particularly striking film from 1940, titled Experiments in the Revival of Organisms, shows a severed dog's head connected to the autojector. This film was intended to showcase the potential of Brukhonenko's techniques to a wider audience. The head reacts to various stimuli, its eyes blink. This was a clear indication that some level of brain activity was being maintained. It even swallows a solution dropped into its mouth. This demonstrated that basic reflexes could be preserved even in such an extreme state. While gruesome, these images offered a glimpse into the potential of Brukhonenko's research. They suggested that it might be possible to revive organisms that had been clinically dead. Brukhonenko's experiments weren't limited to severed heads. He explored a variety of techniques aimed at understanding and manipulating the boundary between life and death. He also developed techniques for reviving animals that had been clinically dead for short periods. These techniques were groundbreaking and paved the way for future research in resuscitation. Using a combination of blood transfusions, adrenaline injections, and the autojector, he was able to restart the hearts of dogs that had been clinically dead for several minutes. This was a remarkable achievement that demonstrated the potential for medical intervention in cases of cardiac arrest. These experiments further cemented his reputation as a scientific maverick, blurring the line between life and death. His work raised profound questions about the nature of life and the possibilities of medical science. However, Brukhanenko's work was not without its critics. Many in the scientific community were skeptical of his methods and the ethical implications of his research. Many questioned the ethics of his methods and the validity of his claims. The lack of rigorous scientific controls in some of his experiments led to doubts about the reliability of his results. The gruesome nature of his experiments made them difficult to stomach. The sight of severed heads and the extreme measures taken to sustain life were deeply unsettling to many. They sparked outrage and accusations of cruelty from animal rights activists and ethicists alike. These groups argued that the suffering inflicted on the animals was unjustifiable, regardless of the potential scientific benefits.